All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. My name is JT, and you're watching Black Box Trading. Pretty exciting show for everybody today. We're going to be talking about altcoins, shitcoins, whatever you want to call them. Matt and I both decided to go head to head in a altcoin showdown. And we have each picked 5 altcoins that we think are going to perform well over the next 3 months. We would like to see it go longer than 3 months, but 3 months is the time-based target for these trades. And I've picked 5. Matt's picked 5. We're going to go through them. We're going to first just briefly cover the market. I want to take a look just very quickly at Bitcoin dominance, and then we'll roll it into altcoins. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the chat. And without any further ado, Matt, do you want to talk about Bitcoin first?
Sure. Just a little heads up. This is going to be a new series that we do. It's going to be twice a week. We'll be reviewing the portfolio here. The idea of the show is basically, as Blue already mentioned, I would say I'm totally a Bitcoin maxi, and Blue is more of, basically a Bitcoin maxi as well. But the idea of the show is, like, we think that there's possible upside on a few of these altcoins over the next 3 to 6 months. But just in like that last little period, I think it's always better to hold Bitcoin. But I'm interested to see what happens if we were to take $5,000 of Bitcoin each and $5,000, $1,000 each into these altcoins and see which one outperforms over the period of like 3 months, or 6 months, whatever it might be. So that's the idea behind the show. And we'll quickly have a look at Bitcoin, as Blue said, and then we'll review what we chose and why we chose it. All right, here we go. I'm on my charts right now. Am I on the screen, Blue?
Yes. Yeah, you're good to go.
All right, fantastic. I mean, like, Bitcoin right now, I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame. This is a pretty critical time for me right now, where the price currently is. People, and myself included, were looking at like this sort of descending triangle, whatever you want to call it, over the past few weeks that has happened here. And I thought this might have been a fake out. And I thought, recently this might have been the breakout having broken out. This is what we said on Monday. I think we did the show on Monday, wherever it was, maybe back here. I thought it was on this candle here, I reckon. I thought like this might have been the real breakout, having failed on previous breakouts. I think I had the line drawn more like that, perhaps. Now, I'm off this idea completely. I think that that's invalidated. I also mentioned on the show with Tone that I'm kind of looking at this as more of just your basic channel. Do you know what I mean? Where rather than being like any kind of descending triangle or anything, I really just think we need to get out of this range, right? And we're stuck in where we're just range bound as it stands right now. Every time we come and hit down at on this lower barrier, the more I'm thinking we're going to go down. And the more times we break up to the upside, the more I think I think you could probably lower that. I think it's about 120 is probably more where I'm looking at. I don't really have a directional bias really at the moment. Long term, I'm still completely directionally biased bullish, and I'll show you that on higher time frames. But on the shorter time frame, I don't know if there's a trade to the upside or downside until we break out of this channel. And even doing that doesn't immediately make it safe either. Being in a channel for such a period of time, a breakout could look just or breakdown could look just like this, where it's a complete fake out. Like, because so many people are looking at this, it would make sense that we broke down, and then by the next candle we're back in it again. Do you know what I mean? It's not just as clear cut as is directionally. As soon as we cross this line, it's off or it's down. It's just range bound on the 4-hour time frame that you can see it as clear as day. As I move up the time frames, it has that same topping pattern that concerns me, to be honest. For further downside, it doesn't look like this clean break. It's more of a channel, and I can, as I say, I can see I don't really have a bias either way, except for what I want to show on the weekly is what I've been talking about now for weeks and weeks, is this divergence. This is the thing that's causing me the most discomfort with the market is that until we break out of this divergence, it's intact and it's perfect. I mean, this came up and touched exactly onto that line. It was on that line to the dot and then got rejected hard. So I think once it can break that, it can break it with a vengeance. But until it does, I'm thinking that downside is definitely on the table. We said it on Monday's show. We thought downside was on the table, and I'm kind of the thinking that maybe 111 is more likely than breaking 120 as it stands right now. Now that bias can completely flip, or if we have a good recovery from here and break out. But I'm just not that impressed with the price right now. That being said, if we were to break this line and come down to that 111 mark, that's just an arbitrary number. I just drew it in because wait a sec. Away. I'll just put this in at the 111 mark. You get the point. I think that's a terrific buying opportunity. To be honest, I'm still macro bullish on this asset for the foreseeable future for the rest of the year. Really, I haven't given up on the bull market or anything like that. I just think that it looks like it's due to come back down inside this wave here, the 200 simple moving average. Grab your Bitcoin there, and then you can get a really good run up. That's what I'm looking at, because that same area is exactly on the 7 simple moving average on the weekly, is the 200 on the 4 hour. That's where I'm thinking it's getting pulled. All right, coming back to you, Baloo. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm looking at things a little bit more optimistic, but we do have a lot of similarities, particularly in the smaller time frame. So I'm taking a look at things here on the 4 hour, and I have the same channel that you've identified. I used a parallel channel with it kind of holding the lows, and it's angled up slightly. It's not a horizontal line, but I have adjusted my downward sloping line of resistance. I did have it like this, which you indicated you had as well. Now I'm thinking, well, we got rejected. We need to adjust the trend line so that we know when the strength is coming back into the market. But the one thing that I like, and I'm just going to turn the banner on the bottom here off for just a moment because can't really see the volume. But I'm liking the volume that as it's coming in. Let me just go like that. There we go. I'm liking this volume coming in because we're not having a really large result to the downside as volume is increasing. So I don't often look at volume very much, but when it kind of peaks out above the norm, it can be helpful. We, in the Wyckoff method, we use volume analysis to determine what is the cause and effect that's taking place. So volume is the cause. That is the volume of activity of buyers and sellers in the market. And then what is the effect on price? So price is the effect, cause is the volume, price is the effect. And we're holding inside of the range. Volume is increasing and we're holding inside of the range. Now, this invalidates if we fall out of the range. And then I'd be looking right back down to kind of the 200 level here on the 4 hour, which correlates with some of the targets that you were talking about. But overall, I'm still, the 4 hour for me is neutral with a bullish bias. I have a bullish bias because the wave is green. I have a bullish bias because we're at fresh highs. I have a bullish bias because, more and more fundamental news events are happening on CNBC, and the retail FOMO is starting to kick in. You're getting a little bit of people coming in, or at least Bitcoin is being talked about a little bit more. So a couple things are aligning for me there. Then when I take a look at the daily, I just look at this as a bull flag. Granted, it's kind of the double top. If we take a look at the RSI, there's a bearish divergence on the RSI, but until it resolves either up or down, it's a bull flag. It's flagging. It's in its consolidation. So I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. When we do go into higher time frames, that's when things start to look a little bit uglier. This is not the greatest candle. This it's not a gravestone doji, but it's a topping candle. So Bitcoin really needs to break out of this consolidation before the end of this week and print a green candle for this week if that doji is to be invalidated and invalidated. If we close a red candle on this weekly candle, then we're going to very likely revisit lower levels from where we are right now. Now, I want to
just a question without notice here. Lower targets for me, like to come back down, just for example, to that blue line, which is the 7 simple on the weekly there. It's at about that 111, which I mentioned. That doesn't scare me at all. Doesn't scare me at all. So my question, does that scare you at all to come down to there?
Oh, no.
And at what
no.
And at what point would you be concerned? I'd be concerned if we got below the red line there at the 30 simple moving
if we got below the red line, which lines up with our bearish bias flip with the hitting of the SAR, I would be forced to take a much more conservative approach to the market. I would be I'd be closing positions if we got down that low. But there's a lot holding us up here. And if we take a look at like where that blue line lines up, we've got a lot of support here at the prior high zone. Like it's looking strong. It's looking good.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
One step at a time. I'm not calling for a bear market flip just yet. But if we go back below 100K, that's going to be a narrative. That'll be a narrative shift. That'll be, even though it's not that big of a drop, like percentage wise, like if we go here down there, it's 20% drop. Bitcoin does 20% drops all the time. The fact that we would be going back below that psychological 100K level would come with narratives, and negative narratives would push the price down. But one step at a time. We got a lot holding us up. I'm still macro bullish overall, and I'm expecting higher highs.
So much so that you're starting to consider the investment in altcoins.
Yes. So zooming out here, you and I called the beginning of the Bitcoin bull market back in 2022. We were taking positions down at 15K when we got the green diamond on Bitcoin. And we were allocating through the depths of the bear market when nobody cared. And then finally, when it broke out above that 18K level, you and I both went really hard on Bitcoin, and we were very vocal. And then everybody started asking, well, what altcoin do I buy? What altcoin do I buy? And for years, since 2022, I've said there's no point. There's no point in buying altcoins because we are printing higher highs and higher lows on Bitcoin dominance. As long as Bitcoin dominance is in an uptrend, as long as Bitcoin dominance is climbing, you're in an uphill battle to try and take a position into altcoins. Now things are shifting. Now we have, every, content creator under the sun has been calling altcoin season for the last 2 years. We've been calling it as, there's no point, just stack Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin bull market so far. We're finally at that point where we're ready to jump in and say that I do think that there is a potential shift here in the market. And with this most recent move, this most recent drop, this to me is kind of a change of character in the market. We haven't seen a weekly candle like this on Bitcoin dominance in years. We've seen moves down, and they're, granted, that was a bullish environment for alts, but it wasn't altcoin season. And I'm thinking that, it's checking one of the two boxes that I need to see right now. We took out the prior low. I had this line drawn for months now saying altcoin starts. We've crossed below the altcoin season starts line. And then I was expecting us to maybe come up to the 7 here on the weekly and get a reversal. But it looks like
on Monday's show, you said, go back to that previous chart. It was perfect. Oh, there it is. Yeah. You said you wanted to see us come back and touch the mid-range point of that. When we were down at the bottom of that
we
channel.
Were down here. We were at the bottom of the channel.
Yeah. Yep. And we both said we're not buying anything now because we want to see that. You said that you want to see it come back up and touch that line right there in the middle. And I said I want to see like a 10-15% correction in the price, and what do you know? We got them both.
That's where we are. That's where we are, which leads us into the meat and potatoes of the show here. We're going to share the altcoins that we took positions in, 2 different portfolio structures. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Which team are you? Are you team JT? Are you team Matt? But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about my portfolio. I'll go over here. I've organized it here on CoinGecko. We've got, I took higher risk plays. I took lower market cap coins, higher risk plays. And Matt, you took some of the more traditional ones, and I'll let you explain that in a moment. But yeah, I took some higher risk ones. They're going to be a lot more volatile. The volatility on the downside is going to be extreme. And then hopefully the volatility to the upside is also going to be extreme. So my portfolio is already down. I'm already underwater $150 here on the $5,000 portfolio that I created earlier today. But it consists of a couple that we can take a look at. I've got HBAR. Very vocal community. It's a payment processor. It's a smart contract platform, blah, 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 blah. Caspa is a funny one. I've been in basically Twitter fights all week, and I got to the point where I'm like, man, this community is very, very passionate. They're going to convince a bunch of people that this is a good coin. I want in on that action. So I took a position in Caspa. Solana, many people know that I've been a Solana bull for a long time. I've been bullish on Solana it was one of the few coins that was actually doing well during the first phase of the bull market, and Ethereum's been getting hammered. So I'm going to stick with my horse here and stick with Solana. Solana competitor, kind of high throughput blockchain, is going to be Sonic, and a stupid meme coin. So I just picked the most popular one right now, which is down bad today. But I was basically buying the top on Pudgy Penguin. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process here with these high risk ones. Do you want to go through yours, Matt?
Absolutely. Can you bring it up for me, mate?
Yeah. Do you have a copy of the link, or do you want to just go off my screen share?
I'll go off your screen for now.
All right.
All right. I am down 1.1% since we purchased this portfolio about 12 hours ago, something like that. If you just scroll down slightly, mate, I'll run through my picks here. I went with, what would be considered the tried and true coins. I don't know anything about these, like the protocols of these things. I don't believe in them at all. But the thing is, I wanted to go with ones that someone like me, who's never looked at the altcoins for like 7 years, but still remember these names. You know what I mean? Like that I still remember these names. I didn't even look at it. I went XRP, Ethereum, Sui, to be honest, was not in that group of things that I just said. I sort of looked into that coin a little bit, who was buying it and stuff like that. And a lot of big influencers were buying it, like Crypto and whatnot. Dogecoin and Chainlink. They're like the only ones I could even name from memory, but they've been here for maybe not Dogecoin, but like definitely the Ethereum and XRP. They were there before I was in crypto, and they're still here. Shockingly still here. So that was an easy thought process for me, because I feel like if they're still here and they're still in the top 5 or whatever, then their community must exist. That was the theory behind it. And then, your Dogecoin, that gets a lot of press with Elon and whatnot, for better or worse. I don't think there's, as Blue said, like as much upside with this tried and true sort of altcoins that I've picked here. He's got like that Pudgy Penguin or something that alone could be a wild horse. It could destroy his account. Only 20% of his account could be destroyed to zero, or that 20% could save the day for him. We don't know, but that's too much risk for me. I'm just interested to see if, after, as Blue and I have stayed completely away from these for me for like 7 years, but particularly in this last bull market run since 2022, as Blue mentioned, to today, it was the right thing to do to stay away from the altcoins throughout that whole period. It's just shown that. And I'm not talking about with $1,000. I'm talking about with your net worth, is basically what we're in Bitcoin for, everything we've got. So that was the right choice to have made. But I'm very interested, like in this last throes of the bull market, if it is to be that this year, 3 months or whatever, was it better to diversify a little bit? I don't know the answer. This is a science question, and it's a great social experiment. Maybe we were better off not doing this at all and just staying in Bitcoin. And if that is the case, then I don't care. I'm happy with that as an outcome, because 100% of my wealth is in Bitcoin. So I'm fine with that. But if this works, maybe next cycle I might allocate a little more. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Baloo, how can the good people participate in this with us? What are we going to be bringing them in this show that we're doing over the next 3 months? What do you reckon?
If you guys want to participate in this and trade some of these coins, everything that we've bought today is available on BitGet, which is one of our main partners. If we go to blackbox.pro, you can create a Bitcoin trading bot for free there. We've got our bots available. We also are going to be launching copy trading very shortly. And we also have the VIP trading group. So, if you want to create your own portfolios and come into the Discord and share your picks and maybe compete against us, you could create your own 5-coin pick. Maybe we do a little contest or something for somebody that can outperform. Somebody that can outperform. You pick 5 coins. You got to prove it. Yeah, you have to have a way to prove that you've got those 5 coins allocated. And we're gonna have to check your transaction records and stuff like that to claim a prize. But I think we should do a prize. You know what? If you agree to it right now, I'm thinking of how
10
we
Bitcoin.
Do
what do you reckon?
just
10
20 Bitcoin. I was thinking we'd pay for your portfolio for you. So if you can pick a 5-coin portfolio that outperforms us, the winner of the contest, it's a $5,000 altcoin portfolio. 5 coins, $5,000. I don't care how you weight it. But if you end up being the winner, we'll pay that $5,000. We will pay for that portfolio. So this is your opportunity to create an altcoin portfolio in real time, compete against us. And if you beat our portfolios and beat everybody else in the community who's participating in this, you got that portfolio for free. You get to keep the coins. It's at no risk to you. You got that $5,000 portfolio for free, dominating the altcoin market that I think is coming. I think we're kind of looking at that right now. I believe that there's a shift.
We have to think. I love the idea. I love it. I'm all for that. But just a few caveats we'll have to go through. We'll put a post in today into the group chat with all the rules, because we'll have to have a time limit where they enter. Like they'll have to enter within the next week or something, and they have to hold it for a period of time as well. Like we have to work out those details. We're just riffing off the top of our head right now. But I love the idea. It's free money for you smart cookies. What if it's only for the person with the best result? Not if not 5,000
best result.
Every person
the top performing. I literally just came up with this. Like this is off the cuff. Like I literally just came up with this, guys. So we do have to actually create a formal Discord announcement. So if you aren't already in the Discord, definitely get into the Discord because all of the details will come at you there. And on the next show, we'll be better prepared on how we want to handle this giveaway. But basically, you're going to need to sign up with one of our partners. We're going to need to verify your ID that you are affiliated with us. And we're going to need to see your purchase orders on the exchange that you are trading on. We need to verify that those coins were purchased in the right exchange with the right partner link. And that will be what you need to qualify. And we will have a cutoff date for the altcoin. We'll have a cutoff date. Probably we'll do it in a week or so where you guys can get your portfolios together. And then, we'll have the contestants ready to go in that way. Yeah.
We'll have to be better. We'll have to talk about if they can use leverage or not as well. We'll talk about all that soon.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it offline. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're thinking. Now, do we want to talk a little bit about, you know, I'm getting a lot of questions from people in the Discord asking me about, is the timing really right? Like, are we nailing our entries? Blah, 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 blah. I have my thoughts on how I handle kind of the spot altcoin purchases. I kind of want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about timing the market when it comes to these alts?
No, I mean they're non-leveraged positions. The idea for me was more of a like it's just a working theory that we had, and the theory should be true regardless of the time. The theory is that over the next 3 to 6 months or whatever it might be, that putting some diversification into these altcoins might outperform Bitcoin for a small period of time with a small amount of money. So that's trying to chase a perfect entry. That's trading. I'm doing this more of a what's the word, like a reallocation idea. So, do you know what I mean? Like rotate, just a bit of rotation, reallocation. I don't really care. I mean, I'm glad we waited a week to get the entry. We saved ourselves in some cases 25% already. You know, in some of these coins have dropped. We did the show on Monday. The price was back up at the top of that channel there. So we already did all right by waiting a week. But I think now's all right. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Like if the account gets drawn down 30%, I'll be less impressed with myself, but it will prove my point that I shouldn't have done it. I want to see if, you know what I mean? Prove myself wrong.
Yeah. I think, for me, this is, I didn't wait like 2 years to rotate into alts to really worry too much about nailing the entry. I keep it really simple with these spot entries. Some of these are really, I mean, honestly, my entry on Pengu is terrible. It's a terrible, it's gone up 300. It's over 300% where it stands right now. So like my Pengu entry is absolutely terrible, but I also don't care because I feel like in 3 to 6 months it's going to be at a higher price. And that's kind of with a lot of my picks. Like Sonic, I think the entry's great on Sonic. I really like this. Especially if this ends up being a higher low, I think I nailed the low for Sonic. Caspa, it's also been doing good. It's ranging. I've got a decent, okay price on Caspa. H-bar, not a terrible entry. Solana, not a terrible entry, but Pengu, just embarrassing. But the thing for me is, what's Bitcoin dominance doing? Like if Bitcoin dominance truly starts, if the floor starts to fall out on Bitcoin dominance and it falls out of this channel, like these things are going to go, if history is any indicator, these things are going to go really quickly. So I don't care. I'm not going to chop and change with my positions.
And the why I really want to refer it back to the price of Bitcoin that we purchased at the same time, the same amount, is because I want to sell all these back to Bitcoin, and I'm hoping that I can actually accumulate more Bitcoin by doing this little rotation.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
Yeah, you and I, we've made it very clear we're both Bitcoin maxis, but here we are buying shitcoins. It's something where I think we need to take the responsibility to lead by example. Everybody's going to be, if we are heading into altcoin season, if Bitcoin is breaking out into phase 2 and we're heading into new highs and a 3 to 6 month bullish trend, a ton of new people are going to be coming in. And if these new people find our channel and all we're doing is saying don't buy altcoins, just buy Bitcoin, they're going to completely ignore us. Every new person that comes into this space, they hear about Bitcoin, they want to get into crypto, but they're not going to buy Bitcoin because Bitcoin's $120,000 a coin, or by the time they actually show up, it's at $500,000 a coin. So there's just the unit bias is going to be so restrictive to them, they're just not going to bother. So by showing them that there is a way that you can buy alts and you can follow our portfolio and follow our journey of this kind of portfolio size that's somebody new might be allocating, say, $5,000 into crypto. When we think the market's done, which we've historically been able to mark the top here with our with the alphanumerics indicator, marking the red wave shifts, these big shifts in the market, we're going to sell our alts. So if you're following along with us, yeah, you've bought some shit coins because you couldn't be asked to go and buy some Bitcoin, but we're going to sell it. And when we say sell, we're going to sell it into Bitcoin. We're not going to sell it into Tether. We're going to sell it into Bitcoin. So that's kind of the strategy. You know, it's too hard for me to come online and just say, don't buy altcoins, just buy Bitcoin. Because, you know, we just don't grow. Nobody watches the channel. Nobody cares, because you have an entire network of everybody who is a content creator saying, this is the coin, that's the coin, this is the coin, that's the coin. So we're going to take the approach where we're going to capitalize on it, and then we're going to move it into something that we care about, which is Bitcoin.
Yeah, spot on, mate. There'll be a massive brigade of scammers telling them that the pudgy pentagon is going to be the next Bitcoin, and there'll be people that buy it and hold it forever, and it'll go to nothing. At least I think that the idea of the show is that I think now might be the time to go into your pudgy penguin, but make sure you go back into Bitcoin, and hopefully the profits that you make outperform Bitcoin in the next 3 months, and you actually can purchase more Bitcoin without having to pay more for it. That's the idea. That's it.
That's
all right. Let's wrap it up. We're going to do this. We're going to bring this show. We'll do short and sharp shows, 30 minutes max, and we'll bring like 2 to 3 a week and review. We'll post today. Blue, you can wrap it up, the show, but tell them that we'll post the other thing and blah, blah, blah.
Yep. So definitely join the Discord to keep up to date with this announcement that we just came up with on the fly. The top prize for winning the portfolio the altcoin portfolio competition will be $5,000. So that will pay for your entire portfolio. So it's kind of a win-win. Like, a lot of people are looking to get into, they're looking to buy alts anyways. So if you're kind of already looking around that $5,000 level, just try and make the best portfolio possible, and you'll get that portfolio for free. So more details in the Discord. Definitely go check that out. Scan the QR code to get access into the Discord, or go to blackbox.pro, BLKBöX.pro, and sign up for your free Bitcoin trading bot. And that is it. Thank you all for joining into the live stream. And until next time, we will trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.